bet he wanks off in Buster. That's got to be the worst put down, right?
That we shouldn't put that as the opening thing.
Why not?
I don't know. Should we start?
Well, it would leave people guessing who we were talking about.
He's not a friend of advertising, put it this way.
He's not a friend of advertising.
Welcome to Behind the Billboard Best of 2021. That's a very rude opening. Sorry, listeners. Apologise for that. That was Dan getting a bit overexcited. So over the next 90 minutes or so, Dan and I are going to be discussing the best billboards and out-of-home work for the last 12 months. This sounds like I've written it. I have. I'm reading it off my phone.
You're reading. Wow.
I'd just like to have a bit of structure.
You're like a voiceover artist.
And the last bit here, I'm going to say, we are going to split it into two parts because believe it or not, I thought this bit was quite good. Believe it or not, there has been a pretty sizable amount of good work this year, which there has.
And how many are we counting down from, Hugh, in 2021?
No, that's your gag.
Oh, really? We're doing the 21 of 21. Boom. Should definitely have a jingle for that. Insert jingle here.
Yours is the next bit now.
For those wanting to know our process of how we got to the list, there isn't one. Well, nothing you could actually call a process. We just asked some of our esteemed listeners and guests of the show, friends of the show, I'd say, about what caught their eye over the year, and we thought we'd chuck in some of our favourites too. It's very democratic and very chilled. We didn't put out a Twitter poll, and we didn't put it out onto Instagram and all that nonsense.
We didn't ask.
Is it because you don't care what other people think, Hugh?
Well, I don't know if we could ask for all those sort of write-ups and videos. Could you send us a video of the poster you did with like a 50-word
It ends up being can entries. No, but the good thing is, I think, is that out of the 21 of 21...
Mm-hmm. Very good. Do you want to trademark that? By
TM. 21 of 21.
Yeah.
We've got a good mix of everything that outdoor has to offer. Well, the best of outdoor is literally the best of outdoor this year, which is fantastic.
Well, I think we've got, looking over it just now before we came on air, we got special bills, murals, projections, digital, and of course, classic 48 and 96s. So I think, I think it's good. We spoke to quite a few people and asked them what they thought.
Yeah.
And there's been good consensus on what we thought was good, which is reassuring from various ECDs.
We're not complete idiots.
No, exactly. But then there are one or two interesting ones which came out of the blue. Things which are sort of like not really traditional advertising campaigns, sort of murals and...
And also, full disclosure, we are recording this on the 2nd of December.
Yeah.
And as we've talked about previously, there are those moments at agencies where we go, some creative teams will go, we haven't got ahead of anything amazing this year. Quick, let's do something.
Yeah, and got a month.
There may be 28, there are 29 days left of this year.
Well, that's why also some of, so we're not strict, are we? But some of our stuff in this year actually ran, like you're
bridged,
saying, in December last year, but we missed it because we have to do this a little bit ahead of the game. So,
so if your best work is yet to come, community, don't worry, we'll
pick it up next year.
We'll pick it up. But this is the 21 of 21.
So, do you want to start, or shall I start with this one?
I think you should start because this has got you all over it. This really is.
Okay. I'm just going to read the headline: "Hand up if you masturbate."
It's very good, isn't it?
It's very good. It's a very large pink billboard.
Yeah. Non-standard shape, but it is the billboard.
It looks like, is it a mural? It's sort of semi-mural meets.
Is it? No, it's a
square. It's New York. So it's for KY Jelly, or just KY.
It's Brooklyn.
Yeah, and it's very, very cool. It's beautiful.
Very, very simple typography, but there's the classic billboard rules there, isn't there?
Yeah. Five words.
5 words and a logo.
Quite sexy.
And designed to make you laugh.
Yeah.
That is some of the best outdoors, isn't it? Is the funny stuff.
Well, there's a great idea in it, hand up rather than hands up.
Yeah.
Obviously. But it's not just a horrific pun. It actually is, I suppose some people might use two hands. Is this already a bad area we're getting into?
We're going to get into...
The second one says, let's give ourselves a hand. It's masturbation month. I suppose this is the kind of thing Americans do a bit better than us. Is that fair to say?
What, masturbate?
No,
Are you calling Americans a bunch of wankers?
If we did a masturbation month in England, would we be calling it wanking weekend?
Wank weekend.
I'm going to trademark that.
Yeah, wank week.
But we wouldn't say, oh my God, I'm now thinking what actually entailed. Because I like these billboards. So a few people's telling me. I think Ben Kay mentioned these to me, and I thought, this is good.
Get people masturbating more and talking about it.
Yeah,
using.
Well, maybe I suppose just talking about it is really what KY are about, right?
What's their long form copy? They've got a.
Right, we've got. Do you want me to read this one? So this is. I was going to push my microphone over there. But, this is their version of our version of, slang around this activity. Cheers to all who ménage et moi, paddle a pink canoe and butter their own muffin. Hooray for double clicking your mouse and beating your own brush. Hats off.
Bush. Beating your own bush.
Sorry, the old man who get the glasses on. Hands off to auditioning the finger puppets, patting the cat. I don't know any of these. Slapping the oyster. A toast to all those who jill off. Jeez. Hand solo, finger cardio, one night hand, self-stroke, poke, stir the something pot. There's someone stood in the way that I can't read that. Here's to getting busy, blah, blah, blah. Good for you. Masturbation month, KY. I suppose it's probably just making it feel normal.
Normalising. Yeah.
Don't hide it.
It's okay to talk about.
Yeah. And mate, I'm fine to talk about it if you want to have a little chat later on in the pub.
I'll show you.
John's looking really uncomfortable. No, but so we like this. This is number 21.
Number 21. I think it's a great entry. Yeah, especially the previous one, the kind of masturbation month. Yeah. Again, contextuality. It's obviously posted at the right time. It's covering. KY can talk authentically about masturbation month.
It is quite out there though. If you like we say many times when you're on a billboard, you're out there for everyone to see.
Yeah.
I wonder whether
they're owning it.
Do you think they did it to get complaints or like get people? It's very.
I'm not sure. It's a strange one. The American outdoor market and the rules around what you can say and how you say it are, actually they're quite strict, and they're stricter than we are here. So the fact that this gets through all of the checks and balances of outdoor the various trade bodies is phenomenal.
I wonder.
But it's great that it's a message.
If anyone knows, if anyone ever bothers to write to us, if anyone
we get the odd Instagram message.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to write and just tell us a bit more about this, we'd be most welcome. So that's number 21. Quick credit check. So it's by an agency called Elephant, ECD, Pablo Marquez, Nina Moran, creatives David Knight, and I think it's David Knight and Craig Ward. And yeah, very good job, everybody.
Yeah, very good job.
Yeah. So,
the one we've got at number 20 is quite an interesting story, I think, because
really interesting.
When we had Tiger on at the end of the second season, we talked about the kind of the online community and the responses to briefs and people getting creative work out there on social and then getting picked up. We talked about 1 minute briefs, and we've talked about some of the stuff that young creative teams can do to just kind of advertise their wares. It's not just about getting it in a book these days. It's about getting it looking real and mocking stuff up and working stuff to look like it will work on a billboard is where this idea came from.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a guy called, so it's a Nike campaign, incredible graphics from Dave Flanagan, who, like you're saying, Dan, we spotted him on LinkedIn. It just the angularness of it. It's just so unbelievably brilliant and distinctive. If you we'll flick through them, there's a boxer. I think that's Virgil van Dijk. It's pretty cool, that, isn't it? I mean, it's amazing how you can just tell who a footballer is. Serena Williams, I imagine. So I got in touch with him. Dave, if you're listening, you're probably not. But and I asked him, and he said, well, you're right. So he did put them out as a piece of proactive,
And he's an illustrator, right?
Yeah, that's his gig. And then Nike picked up, and then they either used these or they commissioned him to do something else at the LeBron Convention Center. I'm going to get this slightly wrong. And he said, great. And then when they put them up, I don't know whether they couldn't get photographs of them or COVID hit or something happened, because they said, can you send us the work? Because we don't want to feature stuff that hasn't really run, because that's not kind of right.
But I think the point is with this stuff that the stuff that we're looking at here It didn't run. This is not traditional formats. These are
unless because he said it's the convention center. Either that, so that first image, the big, these aren't, because you can tell they're just dropped in. But I think there's something about that one, the very first one we'll show.
It's the story that I really like about this. That the democratizing of creativity for the out-of-home space that social offers is huge.
Yeah.
And so just having a great idea or being excellent at your craft and displaying that on social has led Dave to get a gig with Nike, and it's run in the outdoor space.
And like you said, it's probably a better story than, you and I could probably sit here and do a whole hour just on what Nike have done in the last year. But I think this is a more interesting story about, how to get work, and but it is graphically amazing.
But this is, it goes back to what I was saying about the 1 minute briefs, is that one of the nice things about that is so as a creative director, you're able to see lots of creative teams work on social, on your timeline, in response to an active brief. So you remember the Kit Kat thing from last year? That is a great poster, and someone went off and made it because it was done in response to a 1 minute brief.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of stuff that I love seeing, and I don't. It's how we find talent at agencies.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Nike were big enough to go, do you know what? Yeah, let's do this. Let's get this guy. I remember I was flicking through some books, actually, some old campaign poster books the other day, and I found a Wonder Bra ad that says "Mind the Gap," and it was across tracks.
Yeah.
And it was a couple of mates of mine who weren't working at TBWA, they were working in another agency. They rang Trev up and they said, we've got an idea for Wonder Bra. And he's like, okay, what is it? And they said, they told him, he said, okay, yeah, I'll do it. So they were at another agency and he did their idea and gave them the credit.
Wow.
That's
nice.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? It's a cool way to work rather than being all kind of like precious and, oh no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think this is really interesting. I think they're beautiful. I love the way he squeezes them into the space.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Dave Flanagan, Nike posters at number 20. 19.
United Airlines. This is relatively recent.
Have we got any more? Did I get the other ones? Oh, sugar. Sorry.
No, they had a couple of lines in the campaign, but this is definitely the best one. I mean, I think it only ran on digital, but it was, again, the power of context in play for outdoor is what we're talking about here. This was run at a time where America had all of a sudden just opened back up to us Brits. So the headline is,
"Now get your sexy accents back to America." Big and bold and massive. Where is it?
Waterloo Station.
So it's as you're going into...
On the big Waterloo motion screen, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a travel destination. It's just brilliant. I remember you send it. I think you see it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sent it to me, and I was like, "Oh god, that's good, isn't it?" I think it was a part of a whole campaign, wasn't it, about America's open again?
Americans open again, and they're United are opening up. In 2022, there'll be 22 different flights to different places or something. So that was the whole thing is America's open again, and they're expanding their flights. But it's this one specifically ran at a time on I think it was during the week that America opened up.
I remember I worked in America for a bit, and in New York, as you'll know, and John will know because you're New Yorkers as well, aren't you? But doesn't apply. But when you go out, so I worked in a place called Ocean City, which is this sort of like really like 148 blocks of bars on the beach, and everyone used to look at me and go, "Where are you from?" It's like, "I'm from London." London, what's that like?
Well, I've done quite a bit of travel in the US, and I absolutely love it. I mean, I'm a big fan of Americana. I like old America as well. Kelly and I did a big road trip across Route 66, Chicago to LA. Did a month-long trip where we...
Have you got any photos you could show us? Take us through it.
Got tons. It's a whole new podcast. Travels with Dan. Here we are at another pizza place. But yeah, I remember being in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest, and we'd pulled into this town, and we booked this really kind of chintzy B&B for the night as we were doing a couple of 100 miles a day. Pulled into the local supermarket, and we were like, "Oh, should we let's get some food, and we'll just have a kind of carpet picnic for dinner tonight." And And we're going to, at the checkout, talking to the checkout girl, and she said, "Oh my God, can you say that again?" I said, "What?" She said, "You said," I can't remember what it was, cheese. I don't know.
Yeah.
She said, "Say something else. Say umbrella." Umbrella. And you find yourself getting more
Conscious.
British.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you're being asked to perform. Oh yes, I'm frightfully posh.
Oh God.
Never speak like that.
Stick a bowler hat on.
I'm as common as they come, Northwest London boy. And all of a sudden you're asked to perform and you put on this weird kind of
strange
Pierce Brosnan or Hugh Grant.
Yeah, well that's what it reminds me of a bit, this line, this sort of, it does play off of that.
Yeah.
Love Actually. There's actually
Bridget Jones, it's that kind of.
So I just want to say Love Actually, great film. Too many people who slag it off, but the bit I love.
Oh, it's a guilty pleasure, right?
Yeah. But you know the guy, it's completely never happens, right? But you know the guy, he can't get a shag for Love and Money in England, and he goes to America and he meets the three girls. And they go, oh my God, and it's all about his accent. He's such a geek. It's one of my favourite things.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
That happened in a bar to him, right?
Yeah.
Your sexy accent.
And he says, "Oh, you should meet my sister," or something. It's like.
The other thing I've had in the US around my accent is, are you, because it's a London accent. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily the kind of as I said, I don't speak the Queen's English. Are you Australian?
Yeah.
And it bothered me for so long. Why do people think I'm Australian? Nothing against Australians. Love Australians as well. It really bothered me. And then I worked out why. And it's because of Dick Van Dyke.
Right.
His accent in Mary Poppins.
Right.
His Cockney accent is very Australian. So they associate the Cockney accent with Dick Van Dyke's version of Cockney, which actually sounds Australian. So when they hear an Australian speak, they go, "Oh, yeah, that's."
But what about that guy in Ocean's 11 who he does the bomb? Oh God, I can't remember his name. And every time we watch it, we go, "He's core blimey, geezer, apples and pears," and it's just like, you know that thing when like someone who's not really English tries to do an English accent, it's like cringe. Anyway, getting off the topic.
Anyways, it's a nice line, and that's the thing about a good poster with a good line. We've now gone off on tangents talking about why it's relevant.
But it's also
a fun thing.
The thing you always wang on about, and I've been quite a lot of this I've been doing actually at the BBC lately, doing a lot of outdoors for The Apprentice, is getting a line in the right environment for people in the right moment. And that, you know, you're about to travel somewhere.
Yeah.
So you might not actually be going into Terminal 5 there, but you're certainly travelling and you might think, oh, yeah, do you know what?
Also, everyone's reading the newspaper that day on the way into work and they're reading on the front page that America's open again. You know, it's the whole being relevant to the mood that people are in, or, you know what it does when you see America's open again. You're like, fine, when can I get to New York for a weekend? Or when,
because it could have just said, now booking, blah, blah, but
no, it's relevant, yes.
So well done.
72 in sunny Amsterdam it was, I think.
But that's the only credits we've got there, guys, if anybody wants to send us in. But some of these campaigns, we've tried very hard to get all the credits, but sometimes we can't get.
What was that? That was 19, was it?
So now on to 18. So do you want to do this? Shall I do this one?
Do you know what? The only thing I know about this one is
Takis.
Takis, yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Takis.
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 Takis. Takis.
Two blokes say the same word over and over again.
Takis.
It's not great listening.
Takis.
Takis.
It's got to be Takis. It was sent to us on Instagram as an Instagram message saying, "Hey, by the way, this is some work that we've been working on."
Okay. And Dave Monk
sent it to you as well. Yeah. So,
but I don't know so much about it, but it's a great line.
Well, my response to the Instagram message: "What the fuck are Takis? I've never heard of them." And apparently, they are beer food.
Beer food.
Perfect beer food. Yeah.
And aren't they really, really hot?
Yeah, really spicy.
So it says, "Don't eat Takis." Right, and then it says none of your 5 a day, which I think is a really good poster anyway. But then the sort of coup de grace was they projected it onto the Houses of Parliament with the line, "Listen to the government, don't eat Takis, we are literally on their side." So it was about high sugar, salt content food. Is that right? Yeah. So Dave actually wrote to us and said he thinks it was the first time a projection was sort of in agreement with the government, which I thought was quite funny, quite ironic. So
was yours not in agreement? Oh no, yours was just Yours was a projection on the Houses of Parliament.
Yeah. I'm not going to link to that. I'm not going to stoop to that. So this was done by Publicis Poke. Don't eat takis. Yeah, I mean, it's much more than that, really.
It's fun, isn't it?
It's really nicely designed and put together.
There are so many rules now about what you're allowed to say in your advertising and what you're not allowed to say, especially when it's obviously a food that's effectively junk food. So yes, to play on that themselves is quite a nice poke fun at themselves. Well,
Publicis Poke fun at themselves.
Poke fun at themselves.
Shall we go underground?
Let's go underground.
Apple. So we're looking at a dog. I thought it was actually a spacesuit, but it's just a dog.
Dog in a hoodie, isn't it?
Hoodie. So it's for Apple, called Portrait Shot on iPhone. And I actually took these photos myself. Don't know why that's a big deal. But you know that thing you walk around and you go, the point of our show a bit is to look at real work that's really happened. It's happened in the real world, not some bullshit thing that's going to be been dropped on some layout.
But shot on iPhone is, just, what is it? The campaign must be 10 years old.
Yeah.
No, maybe not. Maybe
at least, isn't it?
But the nice thing about it is obviously the technology keeps getting better in the phones on Apple iPhones, but they're always finding new ways to push the campaign. And this is, if you look for, there's some really fun examples of user engagement for out-of-home campaigns where you can use user-generated content as part of campaigns. And I think up there, the pinnacle of it is shot on iPhone. The fact that the everyday people becoming professional photographers because they've got an iPhone in their pocket is a nice thing. And to use people's real work as part of the campaign is...
it's incredibly democratizing, isn't it? And I think these images I found them really playful and silly and stopped me and just made me feel, well, I love dogs. It's actually not just dogs, it's pets. But
you always phone me when you're out walking the dog, don't you? You do.
Yeah, I sort of, I need to go.
It's like you're hiding our relationship away from Rachel. Like,
believe me, she knows a lot about you, mate. We're not hiding.
I can only talk to him when I walk the dog. It's like some illicit.
It's even better. Well, at least I don't see those videos. The main thing I do is videos now. So
yeah. I'm just walking around the Emirates.
Yeah.
Delete.
Oh, sorry, Spurs fan. Back to the dogs. So the other one is, so the first one's sort of like what is that? Is that a French poodle?
No, it's a
pug.
Pug, yeah.
I think it's pug. So pug, and then the second one is a beautiful sort of old manny beard dog. Again, just brilliantly shot. So I did a bit of research on this because obviously this is me just going, oh, these are fun. Let's have these on the chat.
They're all in jumpers, aren't they?
Yeah. And then there's a cat in a hoodie. I really don't like this cat, but it's brilliantly detailed.
Are you against cats anyway? Because obviously you're a dog.
We've got a cat as well, but
have you?
The cat just
you never talk about your cat.
Short shrift. No, it's Rachel's job, to be honest.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's not my area.
Is your cat?
It's a
fucking pain.
Just comes in the room 5 a.m. scratching her face, wanting food. I'm like, just don't give in. Just tear it the fuck off. Kick it.
There's a good. I think it was Jack D talking about cats. Fucking cat. Fuck cats. Fucking walking around. They got their own fucking doors.
Yeah, dogs don't have that, do they?
And then what was the other one? Oh, you put a plate of food down for a cat, and he looks at it and goes, "What the fuck is that? I'm not eating that."
Whereas a dog just chucks its head.
Yeah, dog goes, "Oh fuck, I love that. I'll have another plate of that if you got it." But the cat goes,
balls after.
Cat goes, "I'm not eating that. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to pop out using my own fucking door. I'm going to go and catch something that I would consider food. And just to show you, I'm not going to eat it. I'm just going to put it on the floor next to you." There's a fucking bird flapping around on the floor, Yeah.
Not going to eat it. Just going to toy with it. So this campaign was shot by a guy called Jason Nokito. So
did he shoot all of them?
Yeah. So apparently, I don't know if I've got this clip on here, but he's an expert on shooting pets. So, and then I think Apple actually, you could go online and talk to him about how you can shoot your pet, because it was all about, there's some amazing fact about how many photographs are on people's phones, the percentage of which are pets is massive.
Really?
Yeah. And ever since lockdown, it's got even crazier, So
it is quite funny, like, as I'm a father of 3, like you scroll back through photos on your iPhone, right? You go, before the kids, like, it's like, out drinking, 6 holidays a year, you know, let's go on a weekend away here, let's go there. And then all of a sudden it's baby. Oh, baby in a hat. Oh.
But then we got the dog and the cat.
Then the dog.
Yeah, because the kids start to become a little bit easier.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I don't want to take pictures of my kids anymore.
Yeah, well, the dog's the only person pleased to see you at the end of the day. Yeah, who are you? Rach used to run around the house on all fours, panting, wanting to lick me. Right, we better move on. Moving on.
Oh, you snuck this one in there.
Oh, sorry, mate. I honestly wasn't going to put this in, but
No, I think it deserves to
a
be
few
in there.
people said put it in. So it's BBC Vigil. These are posters which I was, hands up, the creative director on. And there's a very good team called Dom and Matt at BBC Creative. So we had done the whole campaign together and they were brilliant. And we kept trying to come up with other ideas. The whole thing was about depth. So we treated the media like anything in depth, you know, going down was going to be fair game for me. And we kept...
And it's this, again, contextuality, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The placement of this, the media placement of this is relevant to the creative story.
And the media guys were at Ace, but we couldn't... We had some things on the tube and it's going, the deeper you go, the darker it goes. Go, yeah, I kind of get that, you know. But, you know, that'll work and that's an end line. And yeah, I'm going deeper into the tube. But it wasn't really super, you know, it wasn't like, oh, God, that's cool. And then Dom... one day had a Zoom meeting. I've told this story, sorry, on LinkedIn if people have heard it already, but he found a cross-section of the London Underground and he found that 4 stations were below sea level. So, you know, me being a little bit dense, I was going, oh, that's interesting, Dom. Yeah, very good. And he goes, yeah, but you know what we can do then? Let's use those 4 stations and start talking about how deep you are. And I was like, oh, fucking that's good, yeah. So then it was a case of just getting it right. The copy with Matt and with Paul Jordan, we just kicked it around and then just get the art direction right. But they're just very, very, I mean, it's a bit like we've talked about here, the American Airlines, getting your placement right. So, you know, these are underground posters about being not just underground, but underwater. And I think that's why they had a little bit more resonance than...
And you think it's fair to say that's a kind of a good example of media and creative working harmoniously?
Yeah. Really good. I mean, Havas were brilliant on this with us, and I think and so then there was a point. I thought someone eventually did go around and take a photograph of them, but you can see this image is slightly shit, which is me. So I spent one day legging it around the underground trying to find everyone these photos and taking endless shots of them, and then I think Havas said, "Oh, we've done all that, mate." But you didn't have to worry.
And you got the professional ones.
Yeah, so they're fairly decent. Yeah, so Helen Rhodes and Paul Jordan were the ECDs on that with me, and Matt and Dom, like I said. And we had Kat Young for the pictures, Anne-Marie Small, Carly Reynolds, who is a total legend, Leo.
Who wrote the copy?
The copy is written by Matt and Dom and a little bit of me.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Nice. You know what, this is ITV.
Number 15.
Yeah,
ITV.
Drama versus reality. It's just a fun campaign, right? It's brilliant. It is brilliant. From Uncommon?
Yeah, we searched for some more credits, but it was just Uncommon, so that's fair enough.
I'm sure they had animated copy as well.
These are... So the ones we've got here are statics, but they were digi.
Yeah.
And then they also did a game.
Yeah.
Really fucking cool. But so people who haven't seen it, it's called Drama versus Reality. I mean, I think that, and it just says the fight for your attention starts here, Drama versus Reality. So it's Catherine Kelly versus Fern McCann, and they fight each other. But then there's brilliant TV ads as well. But I think what I like about it is it's based on sort of 80s
8-bit gaming, yeah.
Yeah.
No, maybe not 8-bit, maybe
but
more
it's just
32-bit.
Really cool. I think the thing I like about it most is it's got 2 words, 2.5 words. Drama versus reality, that's it. And they've really owned it. They're obviously on a mission to put this out there.
And I think it doesn't look like a poster.
No.
One of the things that's appealing about it as a poster is it doesn't look like a poster. It does feel like a frame from a video game. It doesn't feel like it should be on a billboard.
Yeah.
But it is following billboard rules. You know, it's the kind of the loading page or the end page of a Double Dragon type game or a Street Fighter type game. So
yeah, it's brilliantly put together. I mean, that is what Uncommon do spectacularly, don't they? Like the Habito stuff, the way they put those together, the colour and the graphics. You know, they're very incredibly loyal to the genre they're kind of subverting. So yeah, this is a worthy contender, and I think the game is even
because can you play the game on the ITV website on the ITV Hub?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they were really chuffed for that. I mean, for ITV, this is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I don't think still at the BBC, I don't know whether they would go as far as a game and this sort of stuff. It's interesting actually working. I know we just talked about Vigil, which is the Beeb, and we're going to talk about Channel 4 in a bit. But there's all three channels have worked.
The national broadcasters are very well represented in outdoor, and always have been actually.
Yeah, but they're different. They're interesting tonally.
Yeah,
how Channel 4 can probably push it as far as they want, and my experience at the Beeb has been there's a point after which you can't go.
But don't you think it's exactly the same as what you see on the channels? The advertising follows the theme of the broadcaster themselves.
So in a way, you're reflecting your brand.
Yeah,
in a way, which makes sense. I mean, I think ITV can go really full on like this.
But if you were watching the news and the logo wasn't in the corner on either the BBC, ITV or Channel 4, you would know what channel you were watching from watching the news, right?
Just how they say, how they're dressed,
it's
things
just
they report.
The tone of what they're talking about, and
No,
I think the same is of the advertising as well. So if you took the logo off that, you go, right, what channel is that on? You go, right, that's ITV, definitely.
Yeah.
And so it feels ITV. And Vigil, the same. It feels very BBC drama.
Yeah, it's so true. And you sort of realise it's ingrained in our culture and us.
Yeah.
You go, it's a bit ITV, that.
So it's going to be quite interesting at the BBC. Obviously, there's a new ECD coming.
Yeah, Rasmus, he's in there.
And he's coming from
Uncommon, which is like ITV, and he used to work at
4 Creative.
So
it's going to be quite interesting for Rasmus to go in to the Beeb with all of the product at the Beeb, from podcast to radio to TV, drama, sports, and have, he needs to create, he certainly needs to put his own stamp on it, but having been worked with national broadcasters before, whether he, I hope he doesn't get pushed down the same, the moulding tube of the BBC Creative. But
I think you're right. It is hard because who they are, funded by the TV license.
It's such a huge part of your briefs, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you've worked on while you've been there.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
the client is the BBC Creative's client is the people who pay the license fees.
Yeah.
And that's
kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's strange.
It's still kind of hard to get your head around that, rather than it's a client who's got a yogurt who they want to promote.
Yeah.
But no, it's going to be fascinating, actually. I mean, hopefully he's going to have a great time, because it is, if you put on a wall all of the shows that are on the BBC or coming up, it is like a kind of sweet shop.
Yeah.
I dropped him a little note and said that. But then equally, each one comes with its own baggage and difficulties. So like, say, I've been working on The Apprentice and Doctor Who, 2 examples, and they are in conservatively like their 15th or 16th seasons.
So quite entranced way of doing things.
Yeah, there's a lot of people with a lot.
Lord Sugar being the patriarch of all
something
outputs.
You will never be able to say or change. And then, on Doctor Who, I thought I'd done a pretty good job. And the
Doctor Who thing was brilliant.
There are no names mentioned, but there was a few people who came up to me, Doctor Whoites, they call them, or Whoites. So I'm quite naive in that respect. And they just were a bit, no.
What, did you get something authentically?
They said the Sontaran spaceship isn't that scary. Or so there was some detail about it, the projection we did over Liverpool. And I was like, okay, yeah, I know, but we're just trying to get some noise. And on Twitter, it was amazing, the response we got. So on the one hand, you go, we did the job we needed to do.
Yeah.
But then it's a bit like me going, as a United fan of like at least 35 years, you'd say, oh, that that's the wrong kit, or I don't know. You might say something slightly.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's fine. I was fine with it ultimately. It didn't bother me, but I can see
You would never see that guy in a sky blue t-shirt. Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
What you,
something like that. But I think or any show, you're going to have people there going, "That's not the way we do it," and that's why it's like if you change the
But
music.
that's look, we've done quite a lot of Disney work, which I've spoken about before. But it's the same thing. We have when we work with the parks team specifically, we have
What's the parks team?
the Disney parks. So you've got all of the characters you get to use as franchisable characters to use. So Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, the big five.
Right.
And then you've also got the classic characters, and then you've also obviously got new ones, the Pixar characters, Buzz Lightyear and the Woodies and stuff. But each one comes with their own set of rules and their own universe. So you can't play with. You haven't traditionally been able to play with stuff like, do you know what? I want Darth Vader and Mickey to appear together. No, because you're cross-pollinating the universes that they are supposed to.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so we write these kind of vignettes for the characters to perform in augmented reality on the outdoor space. But someone's job is to say, well, so-and-so wouldn't do that, or they would do it like this. And they add an extra level of kind of tone of voice and approval before you're allowed to start rolling on the cameras. Yeah. And it's the same with people like Lord Sugar, or with the Doctor Who, the Whoites, who say, well, it wouldn't work like that. I think there's someone there to give you the.
There's part of me. I'm like, if someone said, let's change the music to match the day. Yeah. Let's have, I don't know, someone not like Gary Lineker presenting. I don't know. You'd kind of go, what are you doing? So you feel like you own, or you're partly invested in that world. So I can understand that. Yeah. And I think sometimes as creative people and production people, we try to subvert or change things, and sometimes it works, and sometimes I don't know. You just have to be respectful towards everything that's been gone before. Yeah. But then you want to put your mark on it, don't you? Yeah. In a certain respect. Should we do a nice DJ link? To a football poster.
This was around the Euros, right?
Oh, what number are we now?
Oh, you got to go and count down again.
No, didn't I do 15? 14.
14.
Number 14. Or, okay, number 14 leak.
What was that? That's Geordie.
Geordie. It's meant to be Scottish. Sorry. So we're looking at an Adidas mural.
What was a good friend of mine is from Glasgow. Yeah. And he said the easiest word to say in Glaswegian is granny.
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 Granny. Oh, you can't throw your granny off a bus. Oh, you can't throw your granny off a bus. Oh, you can't throw your granny because she's your mummy's mummy. You can't throw your granny off a bus. There you go. That's why.
That's wonderful. Thanks, mate.
That's all right.
So back to the
I'm
poster.
pretty much Scottish. I can do the voice now. That's it.
So the poster says, it did say it's coming home. And the word home is crossed out, which is coincidentally a cross, which looks like a Scottish flag. And underneath it says Haim.
It's coming home.
It's coming home. We love this, didn't we?
Yeah, really good.
We saw this in the middle of the Euros. I actually thought there was a paucity of good work around the Euros. I didn't think there was. Again, so this is a bit like being a overly obsessive football fan. I'm very, very harsh on sporty posters, but this one stood out.
But over the years, there's been some incredible stuff around the major tournaments, right? When you think back to the Rooney.
Yeah, Rooney. St. George's flag.
And Beckham on the White Cliffs of Dover. The stunts, there is, even the responsive stuff we did around the World Cup in 2010, with Widens. There's some incredible bits of creative running out. I think space.
I don't know why this year there wasn't that many, but this one really stood out, and it was from I know it's also easy to remember. It's Max and Max, so it's Max Lowe and Max Lombard from The Corner. Chief Creative Officer Tom Hewitt. So designers Andrew Minchin, Samish, James Monaghan, great name. It's my wife's name. Artist Spray Prints, and the muralist was Mural Republic. And I think that's Jeff, Tiger's friend, Jeff. Jeff, if you're listening, great job there. So
no, did a great job, and again, I'm pretty sure it's up north of the border as well. So it feels like it's a.
I remember speaking to both the lads. Oh God, don't know if I can remember if I got this completely right or completely wrong. I don't think they're Scottish at all. Or one of them's dad's is. Sorry, gents. I should have got that story right. But so that was our... Oh, yeah, but then we've got another thing, haven't we? So it's 13.
Staying on football and murals. Now, this is interesting because...
What is it? We better say what it is.
Rashford.
Rashford, yeah.
The Rashford mural. It probably didn't get as much attention when it first went up as just the mural on its own.
No, I never really heard it, unless you lived in, I think it was in Withenshaw.
And I think it's important to read...
Sorry.
It's important to read the copy line because it becomes even more relevant after what happened.
What was the line, Dan? What's it say?
Take pride in knowing that your struggle will play the biggest role in your purpose. And the image is a fantastic mural, photoreal mural of Marcus Rashford. It's on the side of a building in his hometown, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's done by a guy called
street artist
Axie P19.
Axie P19.
Probably said that wrong, but yeah, go on.
And so the story, it really blew up because after England losing in the Euros final, the mural was defaced with some quite horrible, spiteful, racist messaging.
I don't know if it was racist in the end, actually.
It was.
Was it? I can't remember, but I know
sure it was.
It was pretty horrid to go and do that.
Yeah.
And so...
And obviously that is, it's a like we've said, it's a highly visible outdoor location, and unfortunately that means that it is accessible by some parts of the public, and it was defaced. But the nice thing about that, there was a response to it, and it became almost a vigil site.
Yeah.
Where people went and showed their messages of support. And the reason that the line is so important is because Marcus has spent almost as much of his life playing football as he has fighting against the injustices of hungry children, and he's done a phenomenal job at that, and has been rewarded for that, and Queen's Honours and all sorts of stuff. But the response from the public, the right response, England flags on there, messages of support, showing the kind of the minority of football fans that feel like they need to. Yeah,
I think for me it actually showed the power of outdoor without dumbing it down too much, because you go, if you're angry, I was very angry about what happened when we lost. Not angry at the players, I was just upset because we lost.
Upset we lost on penalties.
That's it. That's all. I wasn't.
We lose on penalties all the time.
Anyway, yeah. But then when these racist abuse came in, my brain can't even get round what people do.
What a jump!
Yeah.
What a jump that you have to be able to make from. We've lost on penalties to saying something racist.
Yeah. So then you kind of go. Then you genuinely go, well, I feel a bit, powerless or whatever, but then you go to the site, you go to the place where Marcus Rashford's mural is, and you hang out there, and that becomes really powerful. If that was just a social post or a press ad, it doesn't exist in the real world, does it? But it does exist, and it's a brilliant thing, and that's why I think murals and and homages to people are just ace, aren't they?
Yeah,
great place. And like you said, it was a vigil, wasn't it? By the end. And
it's weird, isn't it? Because it's a relatively new phenomenon. This kind of the big mural, new phenomenon. It's a kind of a reclaimed phenomenon. It's trendy again. It's nice.
Yeah.
Because 25 years ago, the murals that you'd see would be politically motivated.
Yeah.
The troubles in Northern Ireland.
Massive there, wasn't
it? And they were sites for vigils. They were my fallen brothers.
Yeah.
And it is quite nice that this is the positive take on what was a terrible story that happened on that mural is that people got behind it and supported him and showed them that this country is inclusive.
Yeah, and it also, it always makes the news if 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 people do something horrible and negative, but overall, most of the people in the world are decent people.
Yeah.
And that you look at this image and you go, like you said, there's England flags, there's messages of support, so one or two racists or tens or small hundreds are never going to win because of the power of the rest of us. So, but then when you see it there, it reaffirms that feeling, doesn't
it? But, unfortunately, again, it did happen online after the final as well. Some of those comments have been, people have been prosecuted for the things they've said to, racist things to say to the 3 players who missed penalties.
Yeah, excuse me.
Again, what the fuck is...
I think, do you know what? I think the whole thing about social media and how they've still not dealt with it is a whole topic. So that was Rashford. That was and that's 13.
13.
Number 12.
And would it be fair to say fallen from the top spot from last year, or is it brand, I guess?
Down 12 places, B&Q. But nothing wrong with that. I mean, B&Q, like everyone wrote this year actually and said, "Oh, B&Q that bit," and said, "No, it was I think there's a bridging of the years. Some award shows have done 2 years in one, but the B&Q stuff was from last year. But the one we're looking at is called "We Will Grow Again," and it's beautifully colourful. It's basically flowers on the side of a huge wrap on the side of a building, shot by Dan Tobin Smith for Uncommon again. And it's just amazing. I think it was when we were all coming out from lockdown, April time.
Springtime, flowers.
It's just a great positive message.
Positive message, contextual to people's weekends at garden centres.
Yeah. And then there's lots of press ads around it. But, obviously... it'd be hard for them to top what they did last year, and they did so much last year. And this is a slightly different direction.
Well, there's something quite... Rick at our place, Rick's creative director at Grand Visual, he talked about it very recently on a client call, and this kind of visual I always get the letters in the wrong order in my dyslexia, ASMR. It's the kind of...
I know what you mean.
It's a... for an image like this, beautiful, it's shot well, it's something nice to look at. It kind of enhances the environment that it's in. This is in a concrete jungle, right?
Yes, that's true.
We're looking at this corner unit that's in looks like N1. It's it's in Hoxton somewhere, Shoreditch. It's concrete as far as the eye can see, except for this thing now that is beautifying a massive billboard, and there's something quite nice about that. I remember walking around Singapore, and there were rules around greenery on buildings that go up in Singapore. So, because it's a relatively concrete jungle, there are areas of the buildings where they have to create this greenery. So these high rises have got kind of mid-high rise gardens that overspill down the buildings and things. It's absolutely amazing. And it feels like that, this oasis in the middle of concrete jungle for these placements is brilliant.
Who'd have thought, like 18 months ago, everyone the brand on everyone's lips for Great Outdoors B&Q.
Yeah.
And still now, I was talking to someone else about it the other day, and it's like Uncommon have just done an amazing job. And it's all work that runs as well.
Yeah.
It runs everywhere. It's not a kind of...
Yeah, they really get behind it on the media side. They run it everywhere.
Yeah, it's brilliant. They've done such an amazing job. Sorry, there's no more credits than that, everybody. So it's just Uncommon, and it was Dan Tobin Smith. But yeah, great work there. So we are going to take...
Are we at the halfway stage?
We're going to have a little commercial break now.
Do we get to go for a pint now?
Go for a pint. Is John going to get the beers here? We're going to have to go and meet him.
Can Uber Eats deliver pints from pubs? I don't know.
I've got the crackers.
You've got crackers?
Right. So
are you going to pull my cracker? Are we going to go back to the hands up masturbation month?
Oh God, I'd actually forgotten about that. Right, well, everybody, we'll be back shortly. Here's a little break, and then we'll be back with part 2 of the best of 2021. Don't go anywhere.